Good morning, welcome to the Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 5th of February. So, first things first then, and let's quick look at the news coming out today. We've got the Bank of England and the ECB meetings today. Bank of England first at 12 o'clock there. The voting's expected to come out 7 leaving it untouched, 2 wanting to cut still, and no one wanting to increase at this stage. So the rate's most likely to stay at 3.75. European rate most likely to stay at around about 2%. As far as I can see, that's a consensus right away across the board that these are both going to stay. Now I just nip down to look at the rates of where they're sitting here a little bit in terms of the pound, and I mean it's the Aussie, the pound, the US. Okay, 0.1 difference between them, but they're all very, very similar there. Inflation isn't going away, and there is still risk of tariff inflation, any other inflation still kicking through there. So long as we're seeing inflation running high, it's going to be a hard case to drop these too soon. And at some point, if we see inflation running higher in Europe, we could actually see these starting to have to move again. They're notoriously slow in changing, of course, though. Anyway, the damage is normally done before they do anything, and then they do something. And there we are. Anyway, other things to look at for today then. So we've got 2 central banks there. We've got the the governors of those, or governors, and the press conference, 2 press conferences, and Bank of Canada, we got to speaking later there. The governor of Bank of Canada, let's just quick look at that. Okay, his text is out earlier, so don't take this time specifically. And Reserve Bank of Australia governor speaking there as well. So a couple of central bank orientated day today. Right, let's look at the markets themselves then, starting off the euro. Euro to me continues to look weak. Getting into a trade may be easier than said than done. At the moment we're just seeing this little minor move to the upside, a break of this morning's lows here. It hasn't hit the daily pivot, makes the S2 look more likely, but look how pinched these pivots are getting, and it's talk about not trading in the mornings. Not trading it may be a better idea at the moment. It's certainly not moving particularly great. Okay, the pound, very similar when he gets there. There we go. Slightly weaker this morning at this stage. It's lovely move there into that pivot yesterday. And that sort of that became it. It was in the afternoon we did see the movement. It's a little bit more, it moved a little bit better. I was really looking below the pivot to actually get into something hit there. That came in quite late in the afternoon at 3 o'clock there, but it does look like we could again see some continuation. This possibly looks slightly better in the euro. The pivots are not quite so pinched. S2's a reasonable potential, maybe even more, because that is so close together. Looking at the 500 MA sitting there, the hourly 500 MA on my chart here, just around about 135.60 sort of area, just waiting for a breakdown there. Okay, that's the pound. The yen continues its ride to the upside here. It changes for me, the yen, dollar yen, so it's continuing, the dollar stretching its legs. Now this stretch of legs, not just on the dollar but on all these currencies, could continue for a little while. We're seeing certainly in for the yen, it's just continued to push up. It bottomed out, that had been its move. It's quite a solid push up here, regardless of how we might get intervention on these higher levels, but it's got to get back up there before I think even speak of intervention reappears. But if it does, that's the area. If you get the signals to sell, we could potentially sell, but for now it's clearly on its way up. Not really find it looking at anything particularly great on the trading front there. The Australian dollar getting quite choppy up here. It's sort of been outperforming, but even this is looking weak at the moment. It's popped a 4-hourly pivot swing in there, break of the lows of that. Could be a trigger. That would be coinciding here with this low of this bar, the 2 o'clock bar there. It's a sort of little bear flag in this very short-term outlook. Now with these, yep, S2's a possibility. It has hit the pivot though. It takes the probability away a little bit, but the way things are moving. But also it may just be coming back down to the support area from over here somewhere. There was a few touches around that level, so there's a potential rollover there. Where would you take it from? Potentially below its back below its S1 here. I mean, it could be an aggressive trade that follows through here, but maybe a little bit lower. Canadian dollar continues its the road to the upside as well here. So this US dollar CAD, so it's pushing the strength of the US dollar is still pushing up there. Not massively strong. I mean, it chopped up there yesterday. You look at it on an hourly basis, you see the whole day in perspective. It's not really one you want to go dashing off for too much at the moment, but yeah, it hasn't caught its pivot today, and it's got the scope to run up to that R2. I'm never a great I don't like trading it in the mornings because after sort of about 9 o'clock it often goes into the doldrums and just runs sideways, so then you're exposed until midday, so you're better off just waiting for midday-ish and see if that continues to the upside. Okay, other pairs there, let's just have a look. Euro yen still heading up north there, so this is still, if you're looking for something outside of the dollar, we could see a continuation. It's put a pivot swing on the 4-hourlies here. Could see a continuation on that as we run through today. It's already moved a bit this morning, but it's got scope for a continuation. So maybe some of these cross pairs will come back into play a little bit more. Euro Aussie, I was looking at this yesterday. It was quite messy, and well, looks like it took some time to get going there. And it's going against the way I'd have liked it to come. I prefer to see it on the sell side at this stage with a bigger trend. The trend is quite strong down there, but so you've got to pick these fights on these cross pairs quite carefully and allow big stops, because they do have the tendency to pop back up and then continue back in on the road that you thought they would go. Okay, other markets then. Other markets, let's just move down here. So silver's really off. I'm talking about silver a bit more lately, because it's popped back down there. Apparently it was up to 17% down this morning, but it's down around about 10%. I don't know if it could have been 17% down. It could be. It's just catching a little bit of a bounce now, but it just has, it's broken its back a little bit here. Lower highs coming through. That was quite a sell-off there at 2 o'clock. Whatever drove that to just suddenly sell at 2. Anyway, it does look weakish at the moment, as opposed to gold, which is holding up a little bit better. It's down 1% here. It's still fighting. I get these regression lines channels are pretty decent at times, and this could just find itself getting into quite a chop within this and slowly work its way back up again. It's been back above the $5,000 mark again. There's scope for that just to go up slower. Personally, I'd just stay clear of it for now. It's just too iffy. Any really dangerous news comes out, we could see it rally quite strongly suddenly. The sell-offs may be a bit more gentle now. I say a bit more gentle. We'll see. Okay, equity markets, S&Ps are down slightly today. Let's have a look what's going on. Bigger picture here. I talked about these yesterday quite a long time. They're very choppy at the moment, difficult to really catch a proper read on. Again, here what this has done, it's put effectively in this short term a lower high, but it's in a range. The bigger picture's in a range, and it may be that the ranges have got more scope to be traded if you're desperate for trading them. It did come off quite nicely yesterday afternoon though, and that's the best time to wait for it to come. It was looking like it in the morning that it could roll over. We had this pivot swing in there. Then you see, this is the reason why I keep away from some of these markets at certain times. It then pops up there, but then went the way it was sort of setting up here, but not before it would have taken out a lot of people's stops if they were trading this. So it's a real patience game sitting there. Anyway, today, well, let's see what happens again this afternoon. We could see it coming back down towards these lows. It looks like there's quite a bit of support sitting around these levels. Let's just come out the time frame there. It's got a lower support area. Also the 4 hourly 500 underneath there. So it, as I said yesterday, it really isn't a clear market where it's going at the moment. Okay, FTSE. Off this morning, new highs yesterday, off this morning, looking a bit ugly. The problem we have with a lot of these markets is the tech stock side of things. It's become very unpredictable, and causing a lot of this to and throwing. Again, here on the short term, we put lower highs in. I don't really like shorting something that's like this. It might. We'll see what happens. I mean, we've got the Bank of England meeting and the ECB meeting, so both the FTSE and the DAX could be affected as the outcome of those. Right, and so it makes it a risky trade in the morning unless you're in and out quite quickly. Finally, the DAX then. It's gone really quite choppy and ugly here, and consolidating around its weekly pivot at this stage. Yeah, it's certainly looking soft on the open here. It's just opened, it's just coming off a little bit there. It's soft on the open, not looking the best. Maybe a run down to the S1, possibly straight away ish, and then, well, see what happens. Right, yesterday, I would just point out yesterday on the DAX, it actually started breaking down through the 200, etc. It did pop up, but not so far. But again, patience. It's an afternoon trade, and it really went in the afternoon properly down to its S1. It's not very far to go here. Might just get the same sort of move as we saw the early stage of yesterday. Maybe over before I finish the video at this rate. Right, I'll leave you there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. If you've got questions during these, just fire them up. But too late now. But I'll catch you in the morning. Take care.